There we go, we're live.
I needed to rush and put a warmer jumper on because I came down here and I was frozen. So cold down
We've
here.
not had the heating on down here. Welcome to our thing we do on a Sunday. I had to think about that. But
yes, it is Sunday.
It's Sunday. Here we are. It's 8 p.m. Another week has been and gone. So welcome. If you are watching us live, you can say hi in the side chat. Who was first in? Northern 22C. 5 tap points says bye-bye booths. We're going to get on to what we're talking about in a minute. Sharon, oh, hang on. Sharon, I'll raise you 5 tap points. Store being put up on timeout because a long due holiday has finally been booked. Oh, we're getting guesses coming in. Hi, Ellie Ness. Good evening. C. Blaney. Hey, Chris. Hi, Anastasia. Oh, yes. Love to all the mums.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day. Yes.
Yeah. I had a chat with my mum earlier. Yeah, we're heading up that way soon to visit as well, which will be good. Good evening. Flipping Maggie and Jens, HB, Angel Delight. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums. There's Phil, welcome. Jennifer, hi there. Right, Laurel, let's say a few more whilst people are joining us and the notifications hopefully have gone out. Oh yeah, had a haircut. Don't have much left. So a few more. Hi, Market Man Mike. And then we have from Joe. Hi all, whatever your decision, I'm sure it will benefit. Well,
that's why you make decisions, because you hope that they're going to be, good ones.
Yeah.
Hang on, I've got something on my screen. There we go.
Okay, I'm going to scroll down to the end.
I just noticed that Darren's in. So we'll
Darren.
start with that, actually. This isn't anything to do with our big decision. This is to do with someone else's big decision. Darren's other half, Pam, is selling off all of her clothing stock. And let me just see.
Which is brand new branded clothing, right?
So we can let you know what the eBay shop is, that you can go and have a look at the stock. But Darren and Pam have been asking if anybody would be interested in buying the stock as a whole.
As a bulk deal.
Yeah, as a bulk deal.
Yeah. Now, Pam's been a full-time clothing seller for a long time, so it'll be quality stuff. Yes. We said we'd pass that on. So what are you going to do then?
It's 200 plus items. And it's all high street brands.
Stock is in Gainsborough.
And yeah, the shop is Fin Fashion Plus. That's FIN Fashion Plus, if you want to go over and have a look. And then, like Darren was saying, to point you towards his Facebook. So Darren, do you want to pop in your Facebook in the chat? So, or other ways that people can contact you.
Yeah, it's probably easier.
So if you're interested, contact Darren directly, not through us.
Yep.
But we're just putting the word out there because we thought that some of you watching might be interested.
Yeah, so it's a good opportunity if you're a clothing seller to buy quality stock in bulk. Because, yeah, Pam is moving on to pastures new.
Yes.
So, right. So a few more hellos. Now, hello, by the way, Darren. We've known Darren for years and years. Yeah. Porky is in as well.
Says Leslie, new YouTube video is up, which we haven't seen yet. So
is it? I requested a little kitchen video. I don't know if they've seen.
I think this is a car boot sale one.
Is it? Right.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing like videos in the kitchen talking about items.
Yes.
And I've noticed something I'm intrigued about.
Oh.
Hoping I might get a video about it.
Interesting.
Okay, let's say a few more hellos whilst everyone turns up. Oh, we've got 200 odd in. Hello, everybody. Mad Fades Vintage. Yeah, okay. Evening, everyone. I'm packing the weekend's orders a day early and thought I'd join in for the fun.
Okay.
This is the place to be for fun. You are very welcome. Right, I'm going to whiz down. We've got Nia with us, Jay, Pete's in, Peter Ray. Fluffy Muffin. I'm whizzing down.
There's Tommy.
Tommy's with us. Hello, mate. Hope you're well. Doug and Tony.
Tommy might be interested. Tommy and Gigi. They do
Well,
clothing.
yeah, get in touch with Darren. Darren can give you all the detail. Hopefully. Oh, there's Ali. Hi, Ali. There we go. Yeah. Your request is on its way. We have loads scheduled out over the next few weeks. That's incredibly organized of you, Leslie and Sam. Excellent. I'll look forward to that. I have been enjoying the content, really have. Okay, here we go. Ross, hi, Nick and Andrea. The bug decision. What to have for breakfast tomorrow?
It's a little big decision.
I know.
Oh, it's Darren on Insta. Are you on Insta, Darren?
I'll let you chat through that in the side chat. Hopefully Darren is paying attention and you can share the best way to get in touch.
Yeah.
So I'll let you talk through what we're going to talk through, or the main gist of it, because it's kind of your decision.
Oh,
well, you can introduce it.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it together.
I know.
But yeah. Yeah, so first comment, the 5 tap points.
Go to.
Can't remember what the username was. But yes, we have made the tough decision to get rid of the booth. Nick's already quit his booth, and we had big plans that we thought, we'll merge the two together, do records and all that kind of thing. It's been an ongoing conversation for a while. It's making a small amount of profit, but we're feeling that it's not making enough profit for our time and the time because it's not passive, is it? It's not like you can just put the stuff in there and let it go, because you've got to keep it maintained, you've got to keep it stocked.
It's not rewarding us enough for the effort that we're putting in. As much as we enjoy it, it needs to work for the business. Now, we had planned to give it at least a year, but we've come to that decision early. And part of that, I think, is some of the conversations we've had on different podcasts we've been on, some of the conversations we've had here about what is our goal with this business. And really, it's about taking control of our time and doing less.
Yeah,
and to be honest,
doing less to do more, if that makes sense, like less is more kind of thing. Cutting down on things so that we can focus on the things that we're actually, that are actually profitable, that we're actually enjoying doing. And so once we had done, well, let's give Warders Clubber and Simon, Luke Warders Clubber and Simon, a bit of a plug for their podcast. We were on their podcast on Wednesday, and we were talking about simplifying. And part of this conversation has come from that. We've talked about the whole simplifying thing, haven't we? And getting rid of things that cause stress, or that are just not worth the time, but focusing on the things we really enjoy and the things that we feel are worth our time.
Yes. And there have been elements of having the booth that have certainly given you a lot of pleasure.
Yeah.
But also, sadly, quite a lot of stress. But that is a whole other conversation, which I'll let you touch on if you like, because of how the place is run. And it's really unfortunate, but it's not been great.
let me just say that the people that work there on the desk and actually in the Emporium have been so helpful. They're really great people. But the admin has a lot to be desired. We had issues in the beginning where we weren't being paid. They weren't receiving our payments. Something had gone wrong in the system. So we sorted all of that out. All the important stuff was done, but we're still not getting trader reports.
Nope.
And we've had that booth for months and months, and I have moaned at them on multiple occasions. And the thing is, I find it really difficult because I'm very socially anxious. So that kind of thing really, really stresses me out. And I hate having to moan at somebody about something. I hate having to complain.
Yeah. So Well, it got to the point whenever we would go down there, which is relatively frequent because you have to, you have to go put stock in, tidy up, do all the stuff. There was always something we had to go and speak to them about that was a problem because of the admin, because of the people behind the scenes not solving it. Because we spelt out what the issues were several times. We've spoken to the guys down at the unit.
Yeah,
they've messaged, they've been on the phone,
the information.
So that has been an underlying stress, and it shouldn't have been there. When I took on my separate booth, that went absolutely smoothly.
Yeah.
All of the admin was fine. But until I said, I'm gonna quit mine and we're gonna put them back together. And then they cancelled one of your two and kept mine on.
Yeah.
They couldn't even get that right. I mean, I'm sorry, but
they sent me a final invoice for my booth and a message and said, "You've made a mistake. That's not the booth that we're keeping this booth. We're not getting rid of that one." And she said, "Oh, thank you for pointing that out. So sorry. I'll redo it." Sent me a final invoice for my booth again. And we have it set up as a standing order, but they are still invoicing Nick for his booth and they're invoicing me for half of my booth.
So we're paying what we owe them.
Yeah.
But on their records, I'm still paying for mine, but they've already cancelled that. But we know we're paying the right amount of fees. So we're like, oh, there's no point in us saying anything because they don't listen. Nothing ever changes. So those things would be a minor consideration and wouldn't really influence the decision to come away. But when we're feeling like it's not really making enough, to be a helpful part of our business, we want to focus on other things anyway. So adding all of that stress into it, kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, really, let's be honest.
So what I was saying is that, in the beginning, I was really excited about it. I was really excited about its potential. There are, things that I really love about the booth, which have kept me going with it, to be honest. And, I love the creativity that's involved in it. I love the fact that I'm just seeing that Richard's in the chat here. We met up with Richard and Carol at the booth. People have been able to come and leave us messages, and it's brought a lot of positive things. But overridingly, it's become a weight on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And we're also struggling because we've had some, personal things going on with family, etc., that we've needed to take a bit of time out from the business. So we're struggling to find the time to get down there and maintain it. And
so all of this has been an ongoing kind of thought process. And we stated a while back, we're going to give it 12 months. We're going to give it 12 months. Well, I'm going to set up a place to display all my records. I'm going to put that in there. And I think both of us have just found it really hard to get the motivation because we felt quite negatively about it recently. And then having those chats with other people and getting outside of your head and talking about our business and listening to ourselves say, we need to simplify, we need to do less and give ourselves time to do other things. And unfortunately, when we heard all of that back, if you like, it was like, we need to just let the booth go. It's not adding anything.
No.
It's adding stress.
The original idea was that it would take away some stress because we hoped that it would be something that would complement our business.
Yeah, and bring an income in worth the time that it was taking.
Yeah, but unfortunately it isn't. And we swung back and forth on it, and we've said, well, we haven't even gone into the summer season yet. We've only known the winter, which is obviously quieter because it's quite cold in there and less people come out. And we live in a tourist town, obviously. So I'm sure summer will pick up and be better. But the way that we've been feeling and the way, because I've been feeling quite stressed about a few things recently, but that's one of them. And well, here's the thing. Just to ask myself the question, if I was to hand in my notice for it today, how would I feel? And the answer is relieved.
Yeah.
And that says everything you need to know.
And that's all really we need to know, isn't it? If it's becoming a stress, we run our own business to be in control of our lives, and stress is the main thing we've been trying to eliminate all these years. It's the whole point. That's why I quit my job. It's why one of the many reasons you didn't want to go back to yours was the stress of the commute and all of that stuff. So once we identified that, it was a no-brainer, really. But it is difficult when we had visions of what it was going to be, and there are still elements that you love about it.
Yeah,
but it's not right. So anyway, we've missed loads of really interesting comments. Let's I think Tommy and Darren are going to have a chat. Good stuff. So let's go back and see what people are saying.
Yeah, there's been a few comments. I think there was one before the married to reselling one. Leslie said, I can't imagine how people are able to make a living selling in booths. Looks like such a lot of work. And another thing to say here is that I think it varies. Obviously there are going to be some emporiums out there that are very well attended. They've got constant footfall. They've got really good custom. We weren't feeling that particularly with the Petticoat Emporium, which is a shame. We remembered going there when we first thought about moving to Ramsgate, and it was full to the brim. There weren't any empty ones, and we asked about it, and they said they had a 2-year waiting list, basically. It was really busy. So I don't know what's happened in the meantime.
I think they're struggling there.
But they do have a lot of empty booths, which doesn't help.
Well, we've seen, since we took on your first one and I took one, I reckon 20 or 30 have become vacant, and some have been taken up. But the turnover in booths in there, I think people are struggling to make it work. I don't know what that's down to, whether it's down to them not promoting enough or what it is. I don't know.
No, I mean,
whether it's because their fees have crept up over the years and people are struggling to make it work financially.
Maybe.
I don't know. But yes, there are people that do very well in booths.
There are.
I think there are people up there that are doing very well. Maybe they have access to better, more high value stock or more in demand stock.
Yeah.
But for us, it certainly hasn't worked out as we intended. There were months where we made okay money. There were months where we covered the costs, maybe didn't even cover the costs.
Yeah.
Averaged out, it just wasn't, the numbers weren't there.
Yeah. And like I say, we could have just carried on and tried, hoped that it was going to improve, keep putting the work into it. But when we realized that we're really struggling to find the time for it, and we need to put our focus and our energy into other places like eBay Live.
When we look at how we were able to use eBay Live to make money in a couple of hours, and compared to what we were bringing home from the booth, it was like, wow. And what we're still making week in, week out on eBay, and then looking at the numbers from the booth and compare the amount of effort, it's like, yeah, okay. And we are going to carry on with the one-off events like the flea markets.
Yeah, loving the flea markets.
And we do, it's a lot of work again, but for the amount of effort, we get a lot out of it personally, socially wise, and there's a lot of fun involved in that. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. The booth is just bringing us stress. So anyway,
it's really unfortunate, and it's a sad decision to make.
Yes. Fluffy Muffin, it was a very good podcast. It was a really interesting chat, and good to see Married to Reselling in as well.
They commented just there.
Yeah, I'll get to that. So Jennifer's saying there, work smarter, not harder, as my husband said to me recently. Yeah, and for us, it's focusing on the things that work, and that
focusing on things that work, that are profitable, but also things that we enjoy. There's no point in doing things that are causing you stress.
Not if you have the choice not to.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And I guess that's what it comes down to. None of these decisions are also made overnight. We've been thinking and talking about this for a while, and we kept saying, well, let's give it a year. Let's do all the changes we want to do, put the records in there. But we've lost that motivation now.
Yeah.
I think we've lost.
And the conversation yesterday was, is it better just to cut our losses here rather than put all that work into, you know, raising the walls, repainting, redoing it, and then like in a month or so saying, why have we done this? We're still not making the money.
Also, when I came out of my booth and I bought a load of stuff home, I listed a bunch of that stuff and sold it all. That told me something. I know eBay, I understand eBay, and it works. Some stuff that's come home from the booth that you've had listed for ages, we've listed and it's sold. And it's like, we don't need the booth to get the sales. Anyway, let's read some chat. Okay. When we've had booths over the past few years, we found it harder work than anticipated. Right. We don't mind hard work, but running back and forth, restocking, pricing, etc., becomes a bit too much of a chore. Exactly. And the work you put in, you have to get out enough. You have to be compensated enough for your time. We certainly haven't found that.
Because I mean, we didn't go into this with, you know, we went into it with open eyes. We knew that it was going to be work like that, but if it was worth the work, and if it was if it was enjoyable, and in the beginning it was enjoyable because I felt fired up about it. I felt like it was full of promise and possibilities, and it was exciting, but then reality starts to hit in.
And I think that element that you love, the staging of things, and you can still focus on by doing the flea markets and the antique fairs and stuff.
And I thought maybe I can lean into that a little bit on YouTube as well. Perhaps. And
exactly. Do you want to read that one?
Brickable Hours said, it is always good to focus and reclaim time, but if the booths aren't performing well, it's due to take stock and reclaim time and control.
I think that's probably a typo. It's probably good to take stock and reclaim. And that kind of sums it up, really, I think. And here's the other thing. We've always tried stuff, right, in our business. We've tried all sorts of things over the years. You have to understand not everything is going to work out. And just accepting, okay, tried that. Not for us. Move on. It doesn't have to be the end of the world, but we don't like giving in.
I don't like, no.
But it's the right decision.
And particularly as, you know, I've wanted to have a booth for a long time, and so it's quite sad to think that, you know, it didn't quite work out the way that we wanted it to.
It's part of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we also know that we gave it a go. And for whatever the reasons are, for us and for our business, it didn't work out. It's interesting. We've got to know Sam, who set up a booth in there doing comics, very niched down, doing comics and Lego. And I think he's starting to do really well out of it.
Yeah, he's
and
doing
that's
VHS
fantastic
now as well.
Is he doing videos?
Yeah.
So I think we also struggled in there because most of the booths are doing a lot of ceramics and glass and homewares.
Yeah, there is that.
So we were competing directly. When I was selling my stuff in there, I was doing well with records and postcards because they were niche, and there weren't that many other vendors doing that.
There's a couple of other records.
So I'm going to turn my
a couple of records booths. Yes, and a few people reached out to us and they said, you know, if you want to be successful with your booth, and you need to not sell this and not sell that. And I said to you, well, that's all very well, but that's my stock. That's what I have, you know.
And they were right in some ways.
Yes, they were. But there was nothing that I could really do about that, because that's what I have. That's what I have sourced. That's what I have boxes of. And that's what the idea was for the booth, was to try to, you know, use it to sell through my backlog of stock.
So Fluffy Muffin says, if they weren't upholding their side of the agreement, it's just unnecessary stress. And that side of it was so unfortunate, because it did make it awkward, always having to go up and complain. And we're, like you said, neither of us enjoy, nobody does, I would like to think, having to go in and be that person and complain about the same thing week after week after week. It's just infuriating. And again, see, Blaney, the admin failings did my head in. when you were talking about them in videos. I don't blame you. I wouldn't be happy with that. Yeah, that side was a shame, because these are simple things. It was an email mistake somewhere on a list. It was, something somewhere in the background, but we spelt out what was going on. They understood
numerous times
and never fixed it.
Numerous times, and it was never fixed. I even tried to give them a different email address, and still wasn't getting any trader reports.
At one point we were like, forget all of that, new email address, start again. But no,
that didn't work. And now just now this whole thing with that, they now think that I only have half of my booth and you still have yours, even though you've given your notice in on your booth.
And Andrea's pointed out the mistake. And now we're like, well, we don't care. We're paying what we owe.
Yeah.
They can think whatever booths we have. But it's so daft.
But it does add to the stress. So
Well, when you feel that the admin is incompetent, it makes you think, what other mistakes are going on, and are we getting our payouts correctly? And
if I don't see my trader reports, how do I know?
Yeah.
Well,
not getting the trader reports has been really annoying, because although we can see what's disappearing and we were taking photos and kind of keeping track of what was going, it's nice to have it in black and white and be able to look back and see trends or do stuff. And they were giving me that with my booth, but never you.
I didn't. No, I got them in bulk if I pestered enough. But then it was to stop again. They'd go, oh yeah, fixed now, and then I just wouldn't get any more.
How is it so difficult anyway?
And how did they send them in bulk? I don't know. Like, clearly they had my email address. I don't know.
It shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
Hi Lainey, by the way. There's Richard. Did you highlight that before?
Sorry and also, to hear. I don't think that you has replied to Lainey about the bee, but I was wrong, Lainey. It was a honeybee.
Was it a honeybee? Has Dad replied?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it was just your average, not that bees are average, but a honeybee.
It was a honeybee.
Okay. Yes. Nobody knows what we're talking about apart from Lainey. Lainey took an amazing picture of a bee approaching a flower and wanted to know what species it was. My dad's a beekeeper. There's not much about bees he doesn't know. So I sent him the picture. Yeah. And I've not seen the reply, but he said, it's honeybee.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think it looked stripy enough all around, but anyway, I was wrong. There we go.
What a nightmare. Hi, Raymond.
Did we read Richard's?
I think we read it before anyway, but Richard says, sorry to hear you're getting rid of the booth, but if it's making you stressed, then better to use your energy in other aspects.
Yeah.
Exactly that. I highlighted Raymond there. I'm sure it's Raymond came to the meetup in Hitchin before. Yeah, good to see you, mate. Their admin sounds worse than eBay customer service, possibly. Well, it was interesting. A few weeks ago, we were down there. I think it was the time when I was clearing out the last of my bits of stock. And there was a chap up at the front where you pay for stuff. And I came in the front and he was there, and I heard as I went past the conversation, he was complaining that he wasn't getting his trader reports or his payouts or both. And then I went and got a load of stock, went back to the car, came back in maybe 10, 15 minutes later. He was still moaning at them about other things. I think I went around another whole circuit and he was still there, probably half an hour.
Yeah, I'm not the only one.
It wasn't just our experience, which is worse, really. They know these issues are happening and failing to fix them.
Yeah.
And I'll repeat, that's not the reason we are leaving, but it's an added issue that makes it easier to walk away. Put it that way.
Yeah. John says, would Amazon FBA be a better use of your time and still earn money? We used to do Amazon FBA, but we walked away because we're not fans.
Yeah, we sold on Amazon actually right since the beginning of doing this. We started on Amazon in about 2001, I want to say, when you were working there. No, 2000 actually. Would it have been? No, 2001.
Yeah.
We started selling on Amazon.
Yeah.
And we sold on there right up to COVID. But we did Amazon FBA for 3 or 4 years, and it became a huge part of our business. At some points, well over half of our income was coming from FBA. But yeah, we kind of fell out with Amazon. Their policy changes, all sorts of things. And then it became an ethical question as well, which we won't go into. So we were happy to walk away. So I can't see us going back to Amazon FBA, but it is a viable business opportunity for sure. We made a lot of money out of that.
Yeah. Mad Fade says, any theft issues in there? Well, if I'd have had my trader reports, I might know if there was anything missing.
Well, exactly, because we'd turn up and there'd be a gap and we'd go, oh, what was there? Oh, it was that so-and-so vase. Oh, what was this? That was that brass thingy-majig. But not knowing that we were actually getting paid for those items, maybe they were walking out. Those places always will have a theft element to them. Pretty much all retail does. But we don't really know what we lost to theft, if anything.
No. Brickable Hours says, that's really stressful if it's not making enough. With all the stress not worthwhile, would you ever consider creating a small shop? We probably wouldn't go back. We do talk about it sometimes because we're shopkeepers at heart. But
well, if you may not be aware, that's our background. We used to work in shops before we became self-employed, and after starting our eBay business, we then took that to the high street and we ran a buying and selling shop, specializing in media for almost a decade. So that is in us, but we love the freedom of this. When you have a shop, unless you're going to staff it, which is incredibly expensive, obviously, you've got to be there. You've got fixed hours, and it is very, what's the word? Time. It takes up a lot of your time.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this in recent podcasts and chats with other people. Huge part of the benefit of doing this as we do it is we can take time out when we need to. I worked very odd hours, and we choose to put the effort in when we choose to.
Yeah.
With the shop, you've got to be there 9 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, we've both had family members in hospital recently, and we're traveling up to visit again next week. So we'll have to take time out again. And it allows you to be able to do that. Whereas if you're, if you've got a shop, then you don't have someone to run it. You have to close it.
Yeah.
So.
But you're right. Yeah. We are shopkeepers at heart. Yeah. And there are times we both have, fantasies of going back to that. But I don't think our lifestyle would fit that anymore.
Yeah. Sometimes I daydream about having that record shop, that high fidelity one that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And Ellen would love to have a little coffee corner, and that would be great.
I would. Our daughter currently is a barista. Well, she's running a coffee shop at the moment, and I would love for her to want to set up her own, and I would love to be part of that. But I don't think that's in her future. I don't think she wants that. But I'd love to help somebody else set up a retail outlet.
She's sensible. She doesn't want the stress.
She doesn't want the stress. No.
Yeah. Limelight Vinci says you can focus on selling at the thumbs up, thanks. You can focus on selling at the vintage fairs now, choosing when and where at your convenience. Yeah, very true. Yeah.
Another question about theft. We don't really know what we lost to theft. No, talking about that as well. We will work a month's notice. We'll go and chat to them soon. And then, so we'll still be in there for a good month or so. So we're going to try and clear a load of stock in there, sell off some of the furniture that we had, probably all of the furniture that we were using for staging.
Otherwise. No.
So it won't be immediate. We'll have to work our notice out. How it works is they hold a deposit, and then when you give your notice in, they retain that deposit and you work that last month. So that's how it's going to work. Yeah. So if we go up next week and tell them, we'll have roughly a month. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Natalie says one big plus of being self-employed is not having to put up with other people's incompetence. Well, this is it.
Yes.
And that was something that actually came up in the podcast, that I said, the reason why we choose to work for ourselves is so that it cuts out the external stress of other people putting pressure on you for various reasons. So that's something that I'm really focusing on at the moment. Like in the past we've done brand deals, like with Munbin or Anna Louise Jewelry, or the worst one I ever did was with Wix, the website people. They, oh my God, it was like I was working for them or something. Had to redo it and do this and do that, and it was just
in essence you were working for them.
Well, yes, I know,
but it makes you realize how good you have it, not having to put up with other people's BS all the time.
So yeah, we've kind of decided we're not doing that anymore. Like
what, brand deals full stop?
Yeah, well, I've decided that.
You're
definitely not doing that anymore. But having said that, Anna Louisa were actually the loveliest company that I worked with. They were just so lovely.
They were great.
They were really nice.
People, if you can cut other people out of your business,
other people causing you stress,
apart from customers, and sometimes they can cause stress as well.
We all know that, don't we? But most are lovely.
Yeah, that was Natalie, thank you for the comment.
Chaotic admin doesn't help keep people.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Both me and Carol are off in a couple of weeks and thinking of popping over. Well, let us know if you want. We can meet up.
We'll meet up for a coffee
if you want to,
or lunch or whatever you fancy.
The deals are going on. Excellent.
Good.
Andy, hi there. I think there's so much choice online, so I don't know how many people will be shopping at booths locally. There is a demand for it.
There is, yeah.
I think most booths do okay. Well, the owners are the bit. Interestingly, when we took that on, there were people saying, "Oh, the only people that make money in booths are the booth owners," and there may be an element of truth in there. I think as a place to go and rummage and look for stuff, they're hard to beat. There's so much stuff in there. Obviously, we're talking about the experience of owning a booth and trying to make it profitable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a fan of vintage emporiums, and like I said, there are vintage emporiums that do very well, and we know people that do very well in them. But it's just not. We're realizing it's not for us.
Well, all we can ever do is share our experience, and that experience is going to vary wildly depending on who you speak to. I think we will continue to go as customers and film up there now and again and go rummaging, and it's a nice place to explore.
Yeah, and this is a good question. Jay says, what was your reasoning for opening a booth? You have the whole world at your fingertips on eBay, so a booth to me seemed like a backward step. I think it was just trying something different, and for me it was because, like I said, we're shopkeepers at heart. It was having that physical space again, not having to be tied to being there to sell stuff, but having that space that I could style and create, and and also because I have such a big backlog of stuff, we thought that it'd be good to get it out the house in a space where it's selling, well, hopefully selling. And so all of that really.
I think fundamentally we wanted to try it. Right, have an opinion, give it a go, and then you don't know until you try something. And when we were back in Norfolk, we really wanted to give it a go, and we found that antique centre, and we took on a cabinet as a starting point, and then they folded because the landlord put the rent up an extortionate amount overnight, and the whole place closed down. So we never really scratched that itch properly. We had one little cabinet. We only did a month or two and didn't give it long enough to find out if that would have ever made money. So it was about trying things out, because that's all we've ever done. Thinking right back to the beginning, we've tried things. We've tried so many things, many of which have worked out, many haven't. Just how it is. Yeah,
it was meant to be a complement to selling online in terms of process the stock, get it in the emporium, pull off whatever's not selling, put it on eBay kind of thing. And anyway.
It's just another chapter in us trying different stuff.
Yeah. Linda says, hi, booths are expensive, but you need good footfall and buyers.
Did that comment carry on somewhere?
Maybe. Did it?
No.
Oh.
Well, not that I can see. But yeah, absolutely. And it may be a seasonal thing because we started last summer and our numbers were their best at the beginning, which was still at the end of the summer last year. So I think there it is very seasonal. And the peak of summer, when this place fills up with tourists a lot more than usual, people go up there because they're here wandering around wanting something to do, and footfall goes through the roof. But in the winter, it's cold and quite quiet up there. Was our experience. I'm sure there's people that have booths up there that are doing very well all year round.
Yeah.
There's certainly some booth holders that are still there that we know have had booths there for years. You can just tell it's the same stock.
Yeah.
Not same stock, but the same styling, the same sort of stuff. So there are some people making it work, I think, unless it's the managers, that's their units.
I think there's a little bit of that goes on.
There is. Well, we know certainly one of the guys we chat to down there, he has a corner unit there. Anyway, we don't know. Now, was it a monthly fee or commission on sales?
Well, the good thing was there wasn't any commission on sales, which was in Dis when we did the Dis Emporium. So it was just a monthly fee.
Yeah. And it seemed quite reasonable, but you have to sell enough to cover that and then sell enough to cover your time and effort. And the numbers just weren't there. But it seemed quite reasonable what we were paying. Good evening, Jason. What's Tommy saying there? Do you want to read Tommy's out?
Curious, what is your plan with all the stock that your booths currently hold? Is it for a different venture or will it fold into your existing channels? Yeah, it will just come back and we'll put it on eBay.
Yeah, my stuff's already come back. I've sold a bunch of it already. I sold a job lot of local history magazines that sat in there for months. I did sell quite a few. I had, I don't know, a couple of hundred issues. And maybe I sold 30 or 40 in there. But I've listed them in 2 bundles. One actually sold today. So most of my stock that's come back has been dealt with now.
You're doing a thumbs up again.
All the time. When I'm really not trying to do the thumbs up. Look, I can't make it work when I want it to. Oh, there it is. You have to wiggle it.
I don't know. It's always on my face as well.
That never works when I try it.
Oh, I did. There you are.
Anyway,
Neil says, wonder how many of the booths which have closed have moved to selling items online. Yeah, good point.
Don't know.
Yeah.
We certainly noticed when the same firm that runs the one we've had a booth in, they opened the one in where am I thinking?
Folkestone.
My brain was saying Felixstowe.
That's because every time when we were at Folkestone, you kept saying we were in Felixstowe.
They opened one in Folkestone and we went down there. You may have seen that video. And a bunch of people moved down there. That's a central, super, right in the middle of town, huge location. I think it's an old Woolworths.
I think it's an old Woolworths, yeah.
So quite a few vendors moved. Anyway, Fluffy Muffin says it's good to try new things. Sometimes things work out exactly that, and it's not the end of the world. You know, it was a fun thing to try, and we've enjoyed a lot of the elements of it. You know, this is not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, it's not. We're just trying to explain to you.
We made a decision, and we're going to move on. We'll try other things. You know, we're both excited to put more time and thought and effort into eBay Live because, you know, we've only done 2 shows. We are actually going to be working with eBay to help promote eBay Live. So you were talking about not doing brand deals anymore. We are actually going to be working with eBay and for once be paid for our time. We've worked with eBay many times over the years and not. So that's quite exciting.
But it is out of our comfort zone because they want, you know, we're very much, you know, sort of our YouTube vlogs and all that business, and we're not really all about the socials, and like we don't do TikTok at all or anything like that.
Yeah, they want some videos in you know, what's that, Paul? Mike? Portrait, don't they?
Yeah.
To use on their socials.
Or vertical, I think.
I think the plan is now we're going to do one vlog and some vertical stuff which they can use on all their social platforms. So you might see our faces pop up.
Leslie says, I don't think you can achieve online prices in a booth or at a fair. I've bought plenty of stock at both to resell online over the years. Agreed. Yeah. So, and I knew that. So that was never the issue, because the issue was more to get stuff moved on, so that, you know, I could clear my backlog.
Yeah. It's interesting. We've been talking about, you know, focusing back on the core of what we do, which is eBay. And we've both been talking about getting a little bit more regimented in what we do, which isn't my strength, organization and I keep wanting to say commitment. It's not that. Regularly, what's that word?
I don't know. Sorry.
It's been a long day. My brain's not working. So we've been talking about that, you know, being more methodical about it, and cracking through the backlog.
So Jason says, I go past the place where you have the booth when I'm going to the doctor's. Oh, yeah, it's next door. Always pop in, and no one hardly in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There have been times we've been in there where it has been really busy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's times of day.
No. We were there one morning where we were trying to get stuff done, and there was quite a lot of people coming and going. It was because we were trying to film as well.
It's always when we're trying to film in there and people come along and just like.
And we always wanted to be exactly where I'd put I tried to tuck the tripod, you know, away so people wouldn't trip over it. But then people wanted to be exactly where that was. And I kept moving it around.
Yeah.
Or
you're stood there doing a bit to camera, and then somebody just appears behind you, and you're like, you just feel like a right Wally, and they look at you like, what are you doing?
It's a bit like a carry-on film, really. Hello, Sharon says, evening late in tonight. Happy Mother's Day to all you amazing ladies. Sorry to hear that the booths have come to an end. I thought from the title you had finally booked a long-earned holiday. We haven't.
We're talking about doing some Airbnb breaks. As for booking our international holiday, which was the plan, that is still the plan, but it's not happening in the near future.
No.
We're going to take some short breaks in the UK. We've got friends to go and visit. We have booked. Do you want to share what we did book the other day?
What, for Brighton?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I haven't booked the weekend away yet.
Oh, no. But
we're going to see Alison Moyer.
Again.
But we're going to see her in Brighton, which is nice because that's where she lives. But also that we thought we'd have the weekend away.
So, and this is Alison Moyer, who I'm sure many of you will know, used to be in Yazoo, and we saw her on her last tour where it was a kind of career retrospective, lots of hits and lots of Yazoo stuff. She is touring my two favorite albums of hers, which is amazing. She's touring the Other and the Minutes.
And the Minutes, yeah.
Right.
Plus the two Yazoo albums. So it's the two Yazoo.
Oh, is it Yazoo
albums,
as well? Oh,
two Yazoo albums and your two favourite albums. And as soon as I saw it, I thought, well, it's a no-brainer because these are your two favourites. We've got to go and see that.
So yeah, so that's happening, and we're going to make a little break out of that.
Yeah. Mad Faith said, I quit my booth due to regular thefts. The staff weren't very helpful, and it was a weekly occurrence. Oh, that's awful. I still enjoy visiting vintage emporiums, though, for a good mooch. Yeah, we
do. And we will continue to. We'll continue to patronise that as customers.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out for us as vendors.
Let me stress again, the people in the emporium that work in the emporium are really lovely. They've been so helpful. It's just people that are doing the admin that we haven't met before and can't seem to get it together. But the people in the emporium, if you ever go in there, really helpful, really friendly staff. Yeah. Graham says, when you enjoy the work like the flea markets, it's no longer work. Exactly. Yeah. So if something's stressing you out and it's not getting any better, then it's better just to walk away, really, because there's no point in you spending your life doing something that is stressing you out when you don't need to.
And that's what we've been kind of preaching in these chats we've had with various people over the last few months. And we kind of had to listen to our own advice. And what's the point of us having this autonomy and running our own business if we're doing something that's getting you down and stressing you out?
Yeah.
So when we look at it purely from that, forget the fact that it wasn't making as much money as we'd hoped, which is obviously a big factor. Purely the fact that it was causing you stress, that's enough to wave goodbye. That's right. Life's too short. We're doing this for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, Laura. Laura says, so smart to guard your time and energy. Warmest admiration and connections from snowy Colorado. Oh,
that's crumbs. A lovely, lovely comment.
Yeah, thank you, Laura.
Yeah,
I'm glad it's not snowy here. We're starting to see, I mean, it was cold today, actually. I actually wore my hat when we went out for a walk.
But the sun is putting in an appearance.
Yeah, it's starting to feel a bit spring-like. Nana Bear says, at least you tried. No point in making yourselves ill. The economy is bad also at the moment. Yes. Better stick to what you know best.
Yeah.
And Mark says, if it's stressful, drop it. Life's too short.
That's what we were just saying. Yes, absolutely, Mark. Yeah.
Sharon says, you're looking very sharp, clean cut and shaven, 20 years younger.
Amazing, right?
Do they take 10%? No, they don't. No. Oh, I don't know. Why are you getting?
Oh, well, there was an option which I'd not seen before that said you could have ads, and there was options of lots or less. So I chose the less option.
Oh.
Is it putting them in every 10 minutes? I mean, I can switch that off next time. What was the comment? What did they go on to say? Hold on. Don't normally get them. Ah, interesting. Yeah, let me know if they're really invasive and horrible, because I can make sure they don't come on next time.
Oh, no. Was it? No, it was Tommy. Sorry. Yeah, Tommy says, I agree with removing unnecessary stress from our lives, but I also struggle sometimes to know if that stress is actually something life is pushing so I can learn to manage and grow as a person. Yeah, there is an element of that. Not stepping out of your comfort zone. I think that maybe I've got to that age where I'm starting to recognize that maybe I am starting to recognize that more, what is actually pushing me to learn something and what's telling me leave that behind. I think I'm getting better at that now.
But that is, I mean, you've articulated it really well. That's something everyone's trying to work out, isn't it? Is this something that I need to learn and improve myself to be able to cope with, or do I just need to cut that out because life's too short to do things that are different? I think we've always tried different things, and some things, have been difficult to get used to or become proficient at or whatever, but then they've stuck around and become part of our life.
Yeah.
Other things have just been like this, maybe just didn't work out for various reasons. But yeah, it's identifying
I think
how you feel about something.
And I think the answer here is try things. Just give things a go. And even if you think, do that, feel the fear, do it anyway kind of thing, It's got the book. But yeah, feel the fear, do it anyway. Like if you're feeling, I really want to try that, but I'm feeling a bit anxious about whether I could or whether I'd be good enough, do it anyway. Because like I was saying, I'm really socially anxious. So I do find things like doing the deal flea difficult, or, meetups, or, anything like that. But I do it because I need to push myself forward.
And the payoff is worth it in that
absolutely
instant.
Yeah,
I was going to say a good example of that is doing these live streams. You really didn't feel comfortable and you had to really push yourself to do it. But it's been a net positive, right? Doing these, I would say.
And YouTube was a massive challenge.
I was going to say, YouTube for both of us was quite stressful and a real push out of our comfort zones. But if we hadn't taken that leap and stuck with it through the stress, we wouldn't have got to all of the positive things that came out of it.
Yeah.
So there is a balance somewhere in there, Tommy, of this is causing me stress, I'm just going to drop it.
Yeah.
Or this is causing me stress, I'm going to push through and get something positive out of it.
Yeah.
And we have to work that out for ourselves, whatever.
Yeah, because now I love doing YouTube and I don't really get stressed about doing the videos anymore. But I was also thinking about when I did guides, I was a guide leader for 7 years. And what I learned from that is my personality is that I'm not a leader. I'm not going to say I'm a follower, but I'm a supporter. So I'm much better in a supporting role rather than a leading role.
Right.
And then I learned that from doing guides, and I did try very hard to step down and go back into a supporting role, but it didn't work out. So I ended up having to walk away. But I learned that from that, and I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't pushed myself way out of my comfort zone to lead a girl guide troop.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're all figuring it out
Yeah,
as we go.
we are.
And learning to step outside yourself and look back and be self-reflective is a powerful tool to have.
Yeah. Hello, Ross. When I went there, it took me a while to find your booth, and I was looking for it specifically. You have to walk through a lot of ceramics to get to yours. It makes it difficult for the layman to find yours.
Right.
So there we go. That's, again, a lot of people doing the same thing, and I was aware of that, but that's the stock I had to sell. So, you know, I didn't have any choice in that. Oh, this is about the bee, I think. No worries. I love the picture anyway. Yeah, Google couldn't decide either.
What have we got here from Mark? Is it just me? But eBay's died for me. Plenty of views, but no sales for 3 days. Seems that a legal war has killed off what little consumer confidence already was. I don't know. Our sales have dipped since we had that huge high when I was listing tons and tons of books. Ours have come down, but that's as much to do with how much I'm listing compared to then.
Yeah.
We've done okay this weekend. I don't know if any of that is affecting things.
I don't know. I think, you know, financially people are worrying a bit. It's a worrying time.
Well, fuel costs going up is going to affect everybody.
Ross, I think.
If I was finding it hard to find it, someone who was a casual, and there's lots of other ceramics. There was. Well, we touched on that earlier. There were probably 40, 50 other booths in there selling ceramics and glass and homewares. So you were competing directly with a lot of people.
Exactly. And and we discussed that, which is why we were going to make the changes and, you know, make it something that stood out a bit more, make it a bit more varied. And
then we just both realized, you know what, we just don't want to. We're just done with it.
Yeah. And
sometimes, just going, that's how I feel, and we're just going to follow through and walk away. So fine. Sometimes just making the decision is hard. Does anyone else find that?
Yeah.
Coming to a definitive decision rather than just kicking the can down the road, which is what we've kind of been doing. We'll give it a year, we'll do this, we'll change that. Actually, we're not enjoying it. It's causing you stress.
Yeah.
Done.
Here's a good comment. Paul says, was it a case of too much too quick, moving, doing the house, etc., etc.?
I don't know. I mean, it might be an element. I hadn't thought about that. I don't know. I think if it was bringing in the money and it was still being enjoyable as it was at the beginning, we'd carry on. I don't know that it was too much in that way.
No.
We've lost our enthusiasm for it, put it that way.
Gabrielle says, sorry to hear you have to rethink. Here's to a resolution soon. Thank you.
Oh, Richard.
Tap points for me spotting Andrea's new mug. Yeah, that's my new thrifted mug.
Oh, yeah. I've got a cough and I've run out of orange juice.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Well, keep
we'll
in touch
organise that.
and we'll work something out.
Yeah. Will says emporiums are pretty much a summer thing. Yeah, and we haven't even had a summer, so perhaps we're being stupid. But honestly,
But we
I
know
think
it's not working for us on a personal level.
I think you just have to listen to your intuition and your inner instincts. And like I said, just making that decision made me feel relieved.
That's when you know you've made the right decision.
Yeah.
I remember leaving my job with the police, which was a stressful decision to come up, actually committing to walking away from a decent job was a real stressful thing. But the sense of freedom and relief that you felt as well when I came home.
Oh, I definitely felt.
When I just came out with it and said, I'd been thinking about it for weeks. This is when I left uniform. And just taking the plunge and just saying,
you can hear the washing machine.
Washing machine. Sounds like a helicopter taking off. But you've made the right decision when your whole body goes, oh, as hard as that was to do, you've made the right decision. Mm-hmm. I think we probably all felt that at times in our lives.
I threw a party. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how you were going to take it. I remember coming home.
God.
I had to work some notice and stuff, but I'd said to my sergeant or whatever, I'm quitting. And then I went home and I walked in and you were like, oh, thank God for that. I'm like, okay, where do we go from here financially? And neither of us cared. We kind of did, but at the same time we were like, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, we did. Ross says, I've dropped dealing with utter amateurs business-wise last year. Wasn't worth my stress and time. Now working with people who are fantastic, and the future is very exciting. You find the right people.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it was really interesting chatting to you, Ross, at the meetup here about your plans and
that's getting louder.
And building your business. Yeah, we wish you all the best with that. Exciting times.
Yeah, Leslie, do you want to read it?
Sorry. Sure. My favorite emporium places have great cafes and are in beautiful old buildings, which really adds to the experience. They also need to be heated in winter.
Yeah, I think that would really help them.
That was an issue with this one. Very hard to shop when you're cold. Yeah.
I think it does put people off.
I think it does. Yeah. Well, many people, when we had the meet up here and people were taking the time to go up and have a look, as you would. And I think everybody mentioned it, how cold it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Rita says, pleased you got your dream of having a booth, and Andrea got to use her creativity to not only stage the booth beautifully, but to allow us to enjoy following along. Best wishes to you and your family. Thank you, Rita.
Yeah, this is all a positive. We've had an interesting and mixed experience. We've learned stuff. You've learned a lot that you're going to take into the antiques fairs. But we're going to step away, and it's fine. It is fine.
Richard says, we enjoy being in your company and you're easy people to get on with, especially as both me and Carol both have issues with talking confidently around people. Yeah, well, I do too. So, yeah, I always then leave somewhere and think, oh, my gosh, how did I come across? And, and overthink things. But,
well, likewise, we enjoyed your company. So we look forward to meeting up again. And, we'll arrange that soon.
Yeah, I realise we're gone 9 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Let's catch up in the chat.
Through if anything catches your eye to read. Rebecca says the comments about adverts happening every 10 minutes or so. I'm getting them as well.
Okay.
Right. So perhaps.
Dave's in. Hey, Dave. Hope you're well. I'm putting my eBay to side hustle again. Took a 0-hour contract for a haulage company. Right. Okay. Carrying heavy stuff on house clearance is heavy and tiring. Get to work on my own listening to my tunes. That sounds like me. Yeah. I hope it works out, Dave. Consistency. That's how far behind. That's the word I was looking for. I love the fact that The viewers knew exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah. So who's this? Mr. Gibble says, when I was walking around the one in Folkestone, some of the stalls just made me wonder how they could possibly make enough to pay the rent, which made me sad. Yeah.
There's plenty of booths like that down here. I think some of them, and I'm sure some of them, are people who have cancelled their direct debit and just walked away and left the stuff. Because some of the booths down there, it's
They just look abandoned.
They do look abandoned,
Yeah.
like covered in dust, not been added to for months, and you just think they just dumped all their stuff. They stopped their direct debit and walked away.
Well, we were saying that, you know, I bet there are times where somebody dies, and you know how like houses get abandoned because people die and there's nobody to deal with it afterwards.
And the direct debit keeps going.
It does, yeah.
Because they set it up on a direct debit, that unless you know well, in that time before the bank account is sorted out and then eventually everything's cancelled, there could be months or potentially years of that happening.
Yeah. Ali says, good timing as car boots are starting up. Will you do or go to any? Yes, both. Yeah, we're planning to do lots more selling at boot sales because we've got lots of sort of low value stuff that, you know, are perfect for boot sales. So we're going to do that.
We actually went to a boot sale yesterday, and I won't spoil it because I'm putting out a little video I filmed on the GoPro. But we did go to a boot sale. That's all I'll say.
It was an interesting one. Lots of people say no ads. They're not getting any ads. So that's weird, isn't it?
Some people aren't, some people aren't. I'm seeing ads.
Yeah. Sharon is too many ads cutting off your live chat.
Okay.
How weird.
Right. Well, there was a setting that I can switch off, so I can make sure we do that in future.
Yeah, lots of chat about ads. Some people getting them, some people not.
Interesting.
Just got a full screen one. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Tommy says, I love that take on it, guys. Yeah. So are you saying Nick is Batman and you are Robin?
So are you saying Nick is Batman and you are Robin? When did you say that?
I don't know. we're in the tack cave.
But sure, Neil, yes. And Neil, are you still doing squats every day? I've not seen one of your videos
Neil,
pop up.
He's going to stop coming in. That's all you ever ask him.
Oh, I'm interested. It used to appear in my recommended. Maybe I didn't click on them enough, so they've stopped appearing now.
Yeah, Anastasia says, I loved the Emporium, but it was just so cold. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And if that's the feeling you walk away with, you'll be less inclined to go back. So it doesn't help custom. Let's put it that way. When we were in there restocking or doing a lot of work and we'd be in there for hours, we would be freezing. And you go outside and it'd be warmer outside.
I've made it to the end of the chat, so we better do because we're so, I guess about 9:10, isn't it? Yeah, we better do words of wisdom. Let these lovely people go and enjoy their Sunday.
Okay, so regulars will know what we like to do at the end is ask you for a few words of wisdom, a phrase, a sentence that is inspiring in some way. You can relate it to what we've just talked about if you want. It doesn't matter really. We'll read some out and pick a favorite. I think is it you? It might be. You can pick a favorite. I don't know.
I don't know who it is this week. We'll see.
We'll go for you. No, Tap Man. Thanks, Darren. I've got my little sign up there somewhere.
Oh, look at Sharon's. Oh yeah, Tap Cave. Sharon's coming with first. Wow. Mum is a mirror image of wow.
Oh, it is. That's awesome.
Ian says, don't be discouraged. It's often the last key in the bunch that opens the lock. That's good.
I like that.
Yeah. Ali says, autonomy is the crazy idea that you get to choose what you want for your life. Congrats on making a decision that brings you more happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ali.
And Craig says, to see a rainbow, you have to feel the rain.
We saw an amazing rainbow. Coming back from when we took this little trip out to a boot sale, there were storms in the distance heading back into Thanet. and this huge rainbow, absolutely vast, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and
it's gorgeous. You
eventually
can see both
it
ends.
formed the whole
Yeah.
one. One end was in the sea, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. Chris, what do you call a rabbit with fleas? Bugs Bunny.
What? Bugs Bunny? Oh, Bugs Bunny. Yeah, okay.
Anastasia says, if it costs your piece, it's too expensive.
Oh, that's got to be a
It's really
contender.
good.
That ties into everything we've talked about.
And Will says, the papers today tell of war and of waste, but we turn right over the... Oh, what lyric is that? Is it Crowded House? Weather
Everywhere you go.
Weather with you.
Always take the weather with you.
Is that what it is, Will? I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's Crowded House.
Yeah.
That's really nice. I love that album, Woodface. I remember that was out in what, 92? I was obsessed with that album, U2's Acton Baby, and then In Excess released Welcome to Wherever You Are. And those three albums was soundtracked 1992 for me.
Yeah. Thomas says, the box never gets any lighter. The back and grip only gets stronger.
Hold on a minute. The box never gets any lighter. The back and grip only gets stronger. Oh, that's deep, Tommy. That's deep. Quite like that.
And Ali says, as one door closes, another one opens.
Yeah.
Porky says, letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means accepting what is.
These are good.
Yeah, they are.
You're doing well tonight.
Ross says, the success of Dibbler's commercial strategy hinged on him being able to find customers, not the other way around. Terry Pratchett's soul music. Seems very apt and appropriate, right decision.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Whatever makes your soul happy, do that.
Yeah.
Can't argue with it.
Love it. Yeah.
He who goes through a turnstile sideways is going to Bangkok.
Thanks, Russell.
Excellent. Okay.
Hard work never killed you, but why risk it? Yeah, don't dream it's over.
Oh, was it? Don't. Of course it was.
I knew it was Crowded House, but yeah.
Why did we both go to Weather With You from that?
I don't know. Maybe I had it on my brain.
So it's not even from Woodface. I then waffled on about the album Woodface. That was from a way earlier album.
Yeah.
And of course, famously covered by Paul Young. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, we got that wrong.
We did. Russell says, after working in the shops on cruise ships for 19 years, we had the words "stack 'em high, watch 'em fly" on a sign in our storeroom. Yeah. Rita says, hang on, let me read it here. We are not what we know, but what we are willing to learn.
That I like.
Very
that.
Good. Yeah, well, I think I'm going with Anastasia. That seems to be the one that has summed it up for me, really. If it costs your piece, it's too expensive.
That is a good motto just for life in general. We all actually do have autonomy over our lives. We can make choices. Sometimes you have to be brave to make certain choices for the better of your peace of mind. But yeah, that's a good one. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom, as always, and for being here.
Yes, thank you.
We will be back to guest chat next week.
Yeah. We have Tom, the English.
I need to confirm it with Tom. I think it's happening. So hopefully we'll get Tom, and we've known Tom for now a long time. How long have we been doing YouTube? Or have I been doing YouTube? 11 years?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Nearly
12 years. And I got to know Tom. Tom was one of the very few people that was doing reselling content before we started doing it. So it's going to be a really good chance to catch up with Tom, introduce him to you if you've not met him before, and talk about all things reselling with Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully he's going to make it now, because we've just kind of introduced the chat. So I must message him tonight.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, have a good week, everybody. Thank you for listening to us waffle on. Yeah, and thank you always for all your support and your advice, and yeah, it's always appreciated.
Yeah, have a good week. We will endeavour to put out some content. Is there anything coming on your channel?
Yeah, there was one that went up a couple of days ago.
Oh, pop over to Andrea's channel, which is called
My Vintage House by the Sea. The last video is us thrifting in Canterbury.
Oh yeah, that's quite a fun video.
Yeah.
Right, until next week. Ta-ra.
Bye.